Okay, today we're going to be translating parabolas. And just to remind you, you definitely want to write down all these formulas. Just to remind you, this distance here from the focus to the vertex is a distance of c. The distance from the vertex to the directrix is also a distance of c. C is positive because it's opening up. In this case, c is the distance from the focus to the directrix, or focus to the vertex is c, and from the vertex to the directrix is also c. In this case, c is negative because it's opening to the left. Left and down are negative directions. Just to remind you, I think you know this, but a equals 1 over 4c. It's been a little while since we've done parabolas. In fact, if you want to use this formula, this is also valid. C equals 1 over 4a. So those apply to both types of parabolas. So let's look at this one. And first we want to kind of decide, well, what type of parabola is this? Hopefully you can see pretty quickly, this is a y equals f of x parabola here. So I'm just going to write the formula right above it just so you can see it. When you're first starting out, it's good to do. So let's identify a few things like h and k. So we want to identify the h and k value here. H is x minus h, so x, so negative 3. Then k is plus k, so that'd be negative 1. So there's a point here at negative 3, negative 1. That's my vertex. And then it tells us our a value here is negative 1/8. So a equals negative 1/8. And we know that the formula is c equals 1 over the quantity 4c. So 1 over 4 times negative 1/8. So that would be 1 over, I guess, negative 1/2. Divided by fractions, like multiplying by its reciprocal, so you get 1 times negative 2. So c equals negative 2. No surprise c is negative because a is negative. That means it's going to open, in this case, down, because y equals parabolas open up or down. This one's going to open down, which means a distance of 2 units away here, down from there, is the focus. 2 units up will be a dotted line at y equals 1. Always label it with the equation. And if you remember, the focal diameter is a distance of absolute value of 4c, so 4 times 2 is 8. So I'm going to go half of that, or 1, 2, 3, 4 units to the right, and 1, 2, 3, 4 units to the left, and draw my parabola. And if you didn't follow all that, you can definitely just rely on the formula. So like for the focus, you could have done h comma k plus c. So h comma k plus c. So let's just plug in, see if we get the same point here. Negative 3 equals k, which is negative 1, plus c, which is negative 2. So the focus should be at negative 3, negative 3. It is at negative 3, negative 3. The directrix should be y equals k minus c. So y equals k minus c. Y equals k is negative 1. Minus c is negative 2. Be careful, that's going to be like adding 2, and you get y equals 1. So it does work in both cases. So you definitely rely on your formulas and use those if you want to. Let's try this one. So this is an x equals parabola. If you look at your formula sheet, that means it's going to be x equals a times y minus, be careful, this is y minus k squared plus h. So identify your vertex first. So your h comma k. Be careful, h is 1 in this case, and k is 2. So 1 comma 2 is my vertex here. A is 1/4. C equals 1 over 4a. So c equals 1 over 4 times 1/4, which is, I think, c equals 1 then. And that makes sense. A is positive, c is positive. So I'm going to go, in this case, it's opening either right or left. A is positive, so it's going to open to the right. So I think my focus should be right here. We'll double check it in a minute. I think my directrix should be right here with the equation x equals 0. And the focal diameter would be 4 times 1, or 4, so I'm going to go up 2 in each direction from the focus to down from the focus, and then draw my parabola. Now let's just use our formulas here just in case. So h plus c comma k, h plus c comma k. Let's see if we got that focus right or not. So there'll be 1 plus 1 comma 2. 2 comma 2, it is 2 comma 2, so that looks right. And if you look at this one, x equals h minus c, x equals h, which is 1, minus c, which is 1, which is 0, x equals 0 is our directrix. So it looks like we did that one correctly. Let's try it from a graph and try to write the equation. Hopefully right away you can see it opens left, which means it's got to be an f of y parabola, x equals a times y minus k squared plus h. As you're starting out, really good to write the formula first. We know that this is our h and k here. If you're a formula person, you know, let's see, I have to look at it to see. So this would be x equals h minus c. So x equals h minus c. So h minus c, so h is 4. So 4 minus c is equal to 8. So 4 minus c must be negative 4. You might have just figured that out just by looking at this. You can see that this distance is 4 units from 4 to 8. And it's opening left, which is a negative direction. So c equals negative 4 makes a lot of sense here. So a equals 1 over 4c. So 1 over, let's see, 4 times negative 4. So a equals, sorry, this is really sloppy, negative 1/16. So my equation will be x equals negative 1/16, y minus k, which is 0, squared plus 4. And you could just simplify that if you want to show off to your math friends. Y squared plus 4. You don't really have to write the minus 0 there. That's your equation for that sideways parabola. And one more. So let's try this one. You can see this is a y equals, so I'm going to write the y equals equation a times x minus h squared plus k. H is 4. Okay, so k is 3. And so this distance here from here to here looks like 1/2. So c is equal to, it looks to me like negative 1/2 is one way of doing this, because you can see it's a distance of 1/2. And it's negative because it's opening down. So one way of getting c is just doing that. Another way is to plug in the formula and get it from that. So I really like doing it that way. So then a would equal 1 over 4 times c. c is negative 1/2. So a equals 1 over negative 4 halves, or negative 2. So negative 1/2. It's kind of interesting. c is negative 1/2. A is negative 1/2. So the formula would be y equals negative 1/2 x minus h, which is negative 4, so x plus 4 plus 3. That's your equation for that parabola. And that's your lesson.